Well, I guess I should start by answering the question of why did I decide to do this, right? And I guess the reason is that I realised that I have a story that I want to tell, a story about my life, and I suppose specifically about being different. But it's hard to know how to begin this story because I don't know the beginning, right? I don't know the first time that I ever knew that I was different. I don't remember learning that. I just remember always knowing it, right? It was like knowing the colour of your eyes. It just predated learning. But I do know from talking to my family that the clues were there from the very fucking beginning, right? Like when I was 3 years old and I was sitting in the living room using these bright purple Crayola safety scissors to cut foam card into shapes. And when my mum left the room, I used that split second's lack of supervision to take those scissors to my hair. Turn it into a Picasso, right? It would take me years and years, right? I'd be 21 before I would finally get the confidence to go to a hairdresser and ask her to cut my long hair short. And when I did that, she said to me, "Babe, if I cut all your hair off, you're going to look like a lesbian." Yeah, she was right to warn me, actually. She was. It's made getting a husband a right chore. Or when I was 6 years old and my parents woke me up for school one day and found, very much to their confusion, that when they pulled back the duvet, I was lying in bed fully dressed, not in my pyjamas that I'd gone to bed in, and not in my clothes, but in my older brother's clothes, right, which I used to sneak out almost every night and steal from his wardrobe and put on in front of the mirror. It occurred to me, just when I was writing this show for Edinburgh, it occurred to me that my parents probably still think that the morning they found me like that was the only time that happened. As opposed to sort of every single night, right? But by the time that I was 9, the fact that I was different, it was just this uncomfortable secret that I carried around inside me like a lead weight, right? Until one night, I was talking to my older sister and she was gossiping about some celebrity, right? And she very, very casually threw out the word gay. And I asked her what that meant. And she said, it's like when a boy fancies another boy instead of fancying a girl, right? And I froze, right? Every nerve in my 9-year-old little body tensed up, and I tried very, very hard to keep my voice casual as I said to her, "Out of interest, can girls be like that as well?" She said, "Yeah," and I was like, "Fuck, that's it, right? That's it, that's the thing." Right, because even by the age of 9, right, I'd already known by this point for several years that I definitely wanted to marry Princess Jasmine and not Aladdin, right? And you know, I didn't know what that would look like. There was nothing in my universe that gave me a frame of reference for that, and we definitely had some class issues to work through, me and her, but you know. It's always a grower. But I just knew, I always knew, right? I always knew that marrying, you know, Aladdin or Prince Eric or even the Beast, it wasn't going to work for me. And not just because out of those three, the only fit one is the Beast. Don't judge me. I'm talking about when he's a beast, not when he's a man. I'm not a fucking pervert. You know, at the end when he gets turned into a man, it's like some terrible, cursed, reverse episode of Queer Eye, right? But when he's a beast, in his blue dinner jacket, he could lock me up. This is a show about sexuality, all right? So if you're not here for the Beast is a snack material, the fucking door's that way, right? I didn't come to Leicester Square to be kink-shamed, all right? But gay was a word that I leapt on with quite a desperate relief, because all through my primary years, the things that I tried to explain to myself, the reason that I felt so different from everyone else, like I thought maybe I was an alien, right? Or maybe I was the reincarnated soul of the baby boy my parents had lost before I was born. Or maybe I was just simply but irreparably mentally ill. These are the things that I thought about when I was a really small child, and what was so frightening about them was that they all centre around the idea that I was completely alone, uniquely strange. But now, I knew what I was, right? And I wasn't mad or haunted, I was just gay. So I was going to be fine, right? But as I started to get a bit older, I started to worry, right? I started to worry that gay or lesbian, even though it definitely did describe me, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to explain that difference, right? This is the late 90s I'm talking about, and we weren't exactly overrun with examples of queer representation, right? But from the time that I knew that I was gay, I became impossibly fucking vigilant for the slightest sniff of lesbian content. Resulted in some really eclectic taste. I think by the time I got a television in my room, I was surviving on the mainstream crumbs of Ross Geller's ex-wife. The later seasons of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, yes? Yes? And of course, who could forget the July 2005 to August 2005 era of Emmerdale Farm? Don't know if we've got any lesbians in, there's normally one or two. Right, people? Right, you can attest, can't you, for those of you who don't know, right? British soap operas, they used to do this thing, right? Where they would make a character a lesbian for 2 weeks. It was great, right? And then what they would do is they would end the storyline off screen and just never, ever fucking mention it again, right? That's what happened with Emmerdale Farm. How long would I keep tuning in to Emmerdale Farm? 3 times a week. Listening to Zach Dingle talk about yet more problems with the carbs. How long? 1 calendar year, London, that's how long. Kids today, they don't have to deal with this, do they, right? They don't, because there's been a very significant invention for our community in the form of YouTube, right? So these days, if you want to catch up with the Emmerdale lesbians du jour, and Lord knows I do, what you can do is you go on there, type it in, and what you'll find is that somebody has painstakingly uploaded only the scenes featuring the lesbian characters. This is true. This is true of every second of lesbian content ever committed to screen, right? I personally like to imagine that it is the same lesbian doing them all, right? Just down there in the archives, just diligently uploading, right? Solidarity, sister! We're doing the Lord's work. But the thing about finding like these little scraps of representation, right? It wasn't that comforting for me. It was actually kind of the opposite, right? Because I was looking at them and I was thinking, so that's lesbians, that's what I am, right? I'm supposed to be like them, but I wasn't. I was still different. And I started to realise that what was going on with me, it was something more physical than that, right? It wasn't to do with who I was, it was something more to do with how I was. Because when girls are little, right, and they want to, climb trees and wear muddy jeans, right, and play with trains and diggers, we have a word for that in our society, right? I'm sure you all know the word that I mean, right? Some of you might have been called that word. What's the word I mean? Tomboy. Absolute tomboy. But here's the thing about being a tomboy that they don't tell you, right, is that being a tomboy has got a fucking time limit, hasn't it, London, right? There is an age that you are supposed to grow out of it, right? It's just one of those unspoken rules about childhood, one of those secret covenants, like, that day when you came into school and Sylvanian families were just over. But nobody had told you. So you came in and you were like, guys, I've got these foxes. And they were like, Sylvanian families? What are you, 2? And you were like, Christy, we were playing with them yesterday, what the fuck? You know how that happened to absolutely everybody, that. It's the same thing with being a tomboy, right? Just got cancelled, right? Round about year 7, and I remember the acute unease of the adults in my life when I failed to grow out of it when I was supposed to, right? There was this invisible line you weren't supposed to step over being a tomboy, and that line, looking back, basically, it was puberty, right? Because when I was a 9-year-old girl, in my muddy jeans with my trains and my diggers, that was cool, right? That was quirky. That was sort of vaguely but not meaningfully rebellious. But when I became a 13-year-old girl, and I'd swap my muddy jeans for these baggy, shapeless hoodies, I'd swap my trains and my diggers for this mortified terror about the very notion of bras, that suddenly wasn't cool, right? That was suddenly quite alarmingly weird. And all of my friends, they just sailed past the end of tomboyhood. They just started to grow into their femininity in these ways that made me feel totally alienated. They started to talk in a language that I didn't understand, you know? It was like one week we were all kids together, and the next week we had to meet every Saturday at Claire's. I was just looking around the friendship group like, which one's Claire? And like all teenage girls, right, since the dawn of time, like all teenage girls, I had the same blazing rows with my mum about makeup and short skirts, but I put my foot down and I said, no, Mum, to both of those.